Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, just about 5 minutes after 9 o'clock. I think I like this theme song, Jim. Oh. Jim George is in the studio. He is the owner of American Cable Services, and he will answer your questions about your cable TV, the programming, some of the other things associated with technology and how it affects us in our homes, not just entertainment-wise, but also communication-wise. It all seems to be happening now. It seems like phone companies are offering everything. Cable companies are offering everything. Even I've heard electric companies now are offering cable and phone service. So everybody's getting in on everybody else's act. And I guess that's not news to Jim. He's been doing this for a very long time. And the phone number to call right now, anyway, if you'd like to ask Jim a question, is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline, 622-WOCA. And we'll give you Jim's number later on in the show. Good morning again, Jim. How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning for the first time on the air, I should say.
Yeah.
Where were you last week? Did you go to North Carolina?
North Carolina.
Oh, wow. Was it like fun or was it business?
No, it's all business. I own a cable TV system in North Carolina, and I'm selling it, so I had to go up and talk to the new owners and negotiate.
Wow. When you say you own a cable TV system, how many homes?
It serves the Appalachian State University system, so it's a dormitory, so it's 378 rooms.
Oh, wow. Wow, well, that's kind of cool.
It's up on top of a place called Heavenly Mountain and a little place called Whispering Hills.
Oh, I love that.
And it blows wind all the time. They should have wind farms up there.
Blows wind.
Unbelievable. Yes. Maybe I'd be careful how I phrase that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I've heard that phrase used before.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Just very, very beautiful up there.
I love that area, by the way.
And then we bid the North Carolina University system at Charlotte, and we're in the running with Time Warner. It's only us and Time Warner bidding right now. And we hope we get it, and that'll be 6,700 residential units for the students.
What are the FCC? What is the FCC relationship with cable? Is it the same as it is with broadcast?
It is. They're in our back pocket. They're in our front door. But there are different rules. If you're a franchise cable operator, which means you cross a public right-of-way, you have one set of rules. If you're a private cable operator, which means you're on site, you're on one property. Now that property could be huge.
Like the one you were just talking about, right?
Right.
Wouldn't that be private?
It would be private.
Okay.
14 high rises, 6,000 students, 27 buildings, laboratories, but it's on one privately owned campus. That's a private cable system.
So the FCC stays out of your way?
It does. It only has certain regulations, like I cannot interfere with aeronautical frequencies. My system must be real tight in the sense that all my connectors are tight, so I don't radiate in the air and cause any kind of problem. But at the university, we're not only going to put the TV in there and the internet and the phone, but we're going to be doing Wi-Fi, the whole campus, and we're going to be doing cell booster. So the students, when they're in their dorms, can use their cell phones. Right now, the cell phones don't work on the university campus because the residential buildings are so thick concrete, they have to actually go outside to use their cell phones. Yeah.
So when we use a cell phone in an area where there's Wi-Fi, on my little phone, it seems, and I don't know this for sure, but it seems like I'm no longer using a cell tower. Now I'm actually, like the phone knows there's a Wi-Fi that's public access, and like if I'm in McDonald's, let's say.
Yes.
Or even in my home where I have Wi-Fi.
Yes.
It seems like it doesn't use the tower when I'm near a Wi-Fi. Is that right?
They can. That's correct. It switches over.
And is that better? Is that actually a better way to have a phone
It's just
call?
another access point. Like in our home, I have such poor cell service, I have to go outside to use my cell phone.
Right.
So now we have a Wi-Fi system in our house. So although it shows only one bar or no bars of Wi-Fi, cell tower,
right,
it shows this little blue arrow, and it shows full.
Lots of it.
And that's
what mine does.
That's my Wi-Fi.
Huh. So and the phone knows somehow, use that instead of this.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to tell it, like if I go to make a call to say no service, and then and it'll say switch, and I'll hit switch, and it'll switch over, and then I have it.
Okay.
So now, if a company like Time Warner were to go onto the university grounds, like you said, you're bidding with them, will they have like double standard rules for being outside of the university campus and on the university campus?
No, because they're a franchise operator, they have to have the same rules regardless of where they go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, they have to have the same rules.
Well, we hope you get it.
We're privileged because of it's called the level playing field. A private cable operator is a small-time operator. I mean, I don't have the resources of Time Warner, the cash reserves, the employees.
Right.
So the FCC has made a special allocation for us so that we can compete.
Well, good. That's
Yeah.
good. That sounds fun, actually.
It is.
That
Yeah.
sounds very entrepreneurial. I love that. I love that idea. Let's go to the phone. Jim George is your host. Good morning. You're on the air with Jim.
Good morning, Jim. This is Sonny calling. In the 70s, early 70s, the utility I worked for was considering running cable through its system, which was mostly underground, to, we're talking about New York City. And the problem there was, the number one, we had to have its own separate duct system, and the buildings had to have like a board or something set up for it, I guess with amplifiers and whatever for the signal. But everybody and his uncle wanted a piece of the pie. So eventually that went nowhere because of the greed factor, I guess. But I'm just wondering how that works with you guys today as far as setting up a system like that. I mean, you have to look for right-of-way, you have to have either use utility installations or poles or duct work, or whether you bury it or, you set up your own distribution system. And I'm just wondering how that works today as opposed to how it didn't work when I was sort of involved with it when I worked for this utility. I'll hang up and listen. Have a great weekend, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Our system is totally underground, similar to what you would have in New York City, because you don't have telephone poles and power poles everywhere. As a matter of fact, we have to quit calling them telephone poles. You realize the telephone company does not own those poles. The power company owns those poles. They're power poles.
Well, the phone's never off the hook anyway. We still use that expression.
Yeah.
The phone's off the hook. What hook?
Yeah, that's right. So it could be Captain Hook. You never could.
That's right.
But we are partnering with a company in North Carolina that started off as a private cable entity, same as we did, and now they are a franchise cable operator. And they have a franchise for the whole state of North Carolina and the state of South Carolina. And they're moving into Georgia, so they'll pull a franchise for the state of Georgia. And they should be in Florida in the next year. And basically what they have is they are connected with the Lambda Rail. The Lambda Rail is the university fiber optic system that connects every university in the East Coast together. And then it has another name when it gets west of the Mississippi, but it's still the Lambda Rail. And that's so all the universities in America can talk to each other on a special fiber optic network that has no limit to bandwidth. So what I'm getting at, Sonny, is this. They're totally underground, and our system is totally underground, and we're going to meet just outside of Marietta, Georgia, in about a year. And when we do, I'll be connected with the Lambda Rail. Now, that's a price I have to pay, but this company in North Carolina is also putting fiber in just for me in Ocala. And so I'll eventually have a fiber that will touch 4 states.
Oh, wow.
And I can serve any client in any of those 4 states.
Why is it going to take so long? Why is it going to take a whole year?
Well, it costs about $15,000 a mile to put in underground conduit. And, of course, you have to buy the conduit, have it delivered on site, and then you have to dig up streets or bore under streets. So it takes a long time.
Oh.
So what we're going to do is we're going to lease dark fiber from Florida Power and Light. They actually own a lot of fiber. It's called FP&L Lightspeed is the name of their subsidiary, and that will get me connected now until such time as we have our own fiber.
So you can't bounce it off of satellites or do anything like that?
We're doing satellites now. That's very expensive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's expensive. Robin and I actually did a show that was bounced off a satellite a long time ago, and we didn't pay for it. It was paid for by the Children's Entertainment something,
Yes, Children's
whatever,
Entertainment
out of
News.
Brooklyn. But anyway, they only did, well, they did everybody, but they did ours once a month or something. We
Yes,
had a
they
1
did.
hour per month. Anyway, it was very expensive, and I know that nowadays they don't even use that. They had a big, huge dish, bigger than what you would have, like the one we have out in this yard here.
Right.
And they would put it up to the satellite. What did they call it? Uplinking?
Yeah, uplink.
Uplinking, okay. And then, of course, the stations themselves would pull it down and use it. And they don't even do that. Now they just use the internet.
Exactly.
And it seems like it works. I mean, it's just as clear of a signal as and it's I don't know if it's free exactly, but it's almost free.
Yeah, the internet's almost free.
Yeah.
The reason why it costs you so much to get internet service is that someone has to house the equipment. Someone's got to buy the piece of equipment that tells you go this way on a path and you go that way on a path, so that your IP address is distinct to you, Larry, and Robin's IP address is distinct to her. So that type of equipment, costs a lot of money. But the internet itself is basically free.
You know what happened to me the other day? Can I tell you what happened to me? I have my little phone, and I don't use texting a whole lot, but I've got it set up somehow, and I guess I did this myself without realizing it, so that when somebody sometimes leaves a message for me on Facebook, it'll buzz my phone as if they are texting my phone. Okay, so I got a message that says, this should help you out, or something like that, and they gave me a link. And I don't ever trust links, but I thought, well, it's on my phone. What harm could it do? So I have a track phone. I had 55 minutes of time left. I hit that little link, and it was downloading 1%, 2%, 3%. Whoops, out of time. My 55 minutes was gone. Boom, I was down to zero. I said to Robin, I think I just got ripped off.
Wow.
I had 55 minutes stolen from me. So how, do you know, I don't know if this is out of the realm.
That's one of those hacker technologies I'm not familiar with.
Well, I was just curious, how do they use that? I mean, how can they steal my 55 minutes, and why is my time worth anything to them?
You and I would say, what would time do for them? But they resell it somehow. They must have a way of reselling it to somebody.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So lesson learned, don't push any links on your phone.
Exactly. I try never to, I get some things that look very legitimate, and I never open them, never. And luckily I have an IT guy that's pretty smart, and I'll sometimes call him and say, I got this email. No, don't open that one. That's like FedEx saying we have a package to be delivered to you. We're trying to verify your address.
Right.
Don't open those.
Yeah.
Don't open those.
Will you eventually have an app then for your company so people can go and download that app and see what TV programs are going to be on and everything without actually being home at the moment?
Exactly.
Really?
What's going to happen is this. We have a box right now, and the box is about a little bit larger than a pack of cigarettes, and that is your cable TV box. You will put that behind your TV or in front of your TV, and you'll have a remote control, and then when you're home, you get to watch channels, record channels, do whatever you want to, because you're recording and watching off the internet, which means I'm recording in the cloud. And what that means is I own my own storage devices, my own servers. And when you hit record, it's recording on my server.
I got you.
So when you want to watch it, you're linked to my box, and you will get it. So then the question comes up, what's happening with TV Everywhere? TV Everywhere basically means that if you're a subscriber to me or Cox or whatever, they have a way of allowing you to watch that same program you're legitimately paying for right now on your cell phone or on your computer, and they will install a little app. And when you do, you click on that, and if you're out of town, you're doing a show, let's say in the West Coast, but you want to watch Channel 2 out of Orlando,
right,
you would click on that app. It would take you, almost like a sling box. It will take you back to your registered channels you're allowed for. You'd scroll down, hit Channel 2, just like you were on your TV, and you get to watch Channel 2.
Oh, that's cool.
Anywhere in the world. You could be in Europe and watch Channel 2.
Wow, that's cool.
So we have the same thing. We have an app, and in a situation where you don't own a TV. You have a computer. I'll just install the app on your computer, and anywhere you go with that computer, you can watch TV.
Oh, wow. When we go to like a fast food restaurant, and they've got music playing, and every once in a while, I think Sonic's has this, and every once in a while between this, you're listening to Sonic Radio.
Yes.
So that's their own radio station.
Basically.
Are they just simply doing the simple uplink or maybe internet thing, and then the rest of them just subscribe to it?
Yes.
And is that sort of kind of what you do in the university?
And the university, they have their own channel also. It's called UNC channel. And actually, it's so large because it's on the satellite also. UNC, there's UNC at Charlotte. There's UNC at Raleigh. You know, there's University of North Carolina is like the whole state of North Carolina. So they've actually gone on the satellite. But what we do for them, or what we will do for them, is we will put that on the internet for them in the sense that we will take their channel and allow any of the alumni anywhere in the world to be able to watch the UNC channel on the internet.
Really?
Is this going to help with the online classes then? Is this a new phase? Because sometimes you can sign up at a university, take classes over the internet, and not physically be at their location. Will this also help in that regard?
Not in that regard. That's one of the things the university's pretty covets pretty well is, you know, who's allowed to watch those channels, and do they have the proper textbooks, and do they sign in, But could we? The answer is yes. We could just say to them, hey, we'll give you one of our channel slots, and you could tell all your alumni, subscribe to this app and watch TV or download this course. Yeah.
Getting back to the FCC part of what you do, when we hear about public access channels, what does that exactly mean? I mean, every once in a while you hear about somebody saying, you know what, I want to have a show on public access channel on whatever. Is that, I mean, do people do this? Is this an old thing and it doesn't happen anymore?
It is kind of old. It's now called PEG, P-E-G, and public something, I wish I could remember right this second. But a part of your franchise agreement with the city or with the state is that you have to allocate a channel that's public access.
Okay.
So like if you and Robin had wanted to have an hour a day or an hour a week, it would be free. You would not be charged for anything except the studio time if you went into their studio. If you recorded it here in your own studio and it was all on video and all you did was drop the video off, it would be free.
Really?
Yeah.
And do we have that here in Ocala?
You should have that here in Ocala with Cox, Public Access Channel.
Do you have it on your cable?
We do not. We're a private cable operator.
I see. And that's where the FCC makes a difference.
Right, but we do have a specific channel that we call the HOT channel, you know, Homeland Optical Technology. And on that channel, you can do, if you wanted to have your video, you could give it to us and I'd put it on for free.
Why? Why is it for free? Not that it's not, I mean, that's a good thing, I think, but wouldn't it hurt you that
No, it creates viewership. Let's assume you have a following now. There's probably a huge following out there for Larry and Robin. And if you were on my cable system, you could just advertise on the radio. Hey, if you want to see us in person, we're on every morning at 9 o'clock on channel 16 in Ocala Palms, channel 27 in this place, you know, whatever it is. And if I put you on the nation, you could say we're on this certain channel around the world.
Okay. And is that what's going to happen at the new studio?
Yes.
Okay. So we've got a camera ready to broadcast to the world.
Multiple cameras.
Multiple.
Yep. There'll be about 2 or 3 cameras. You're going to have your own switcher.
I'm going to have to put them on everybody but me.
You're going to have a monitor where you can switch people in and out as they talk. And that will be live, and it'll also be recorded, because like I said, we're recording everything. We'll be the only TV system in the world right now, cable system in the world, that if you come home, excuse me, and you have missed the movie, you wish you had recorded it, but you hadn't, you can go back and record it.
Without setting up that DVR or anything like that.
Just go back.
Without going back, really?
Yep, you just go to your TV guide and you look at it and you go back and you'll see where it was on an hour ago. I missed that. You just hit record.
So what's the amount of time before that's not a possibility anymore?
30 days.
30 days. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Wow. So somebody says to you, hey, did you see Letterman last Thursday? No, and then you decide you want to see it. You no longer have to go to YouTube. Sometimes that's what I'll do. Sometimes somebody will ask me if I've seen something, and I'll go to YouTube and just to hope that somebody has put it up there.
And what we're hoping that will do for a lot of people is they won't have to worry about setting up recording times. Do I record the series? Did I record the program? And storage, paying for storage costs. Because the way the internet works, it's not so much how much internet you get right this minute. It's how much internet you consume over a period of time and how much bandwidth you're using. So instead of having to pay extra, you would strictly go back and watch. Now, if you wanted to keep that recording for yourself, let's assume it was Christmas in July on the Hallmark Channel, and they showed 48 hours of Christmas programming, and you wanted to record that time, and then in 30 days or 60 days, when that normally would rotate off, you could say, I want to save it. And we would say to you, fine, then you have to pay, let's say, 25 cents for every movie that you want to save.
25 cents?
So if you saved 100 movies,
right,
you'd pay $25.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
But you would say that would be saved. Mm-hmm. Because what happens is now, instead of letting that erase off of our servers, we'll save that on our servers just for you.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Now, do you think this is the way movies are going to go, like newly released movies? Do you think... I mean, I would hate to see theaters go away because I'm kind of a fan of theaters, but at the same time, money is always the ruling, element. So, do you think that movie-making companies will see a bigger profit if they release them immediately to people's homes?
I know you can know the history a little bit easier than I. You might want to research this, but when radio was king and television was just a fledgling, the radio stations approached the FCC and stopped TV from progressing.
They did.
They said that TV would kill radio. Well, the FCC finally agreed that TV would not kill radio. They could coexist, and they did. When the theaters were also part of that group that said, TV would kill our business.
Save free TV. I remember those.
Everybody assumes a new technology will take away the old technology.
Right.
But theaters are a wonderful experience. I've had some wonderful experiences in theaters.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to go to the phone?
Certainly.
Good morning. You're on the air with Jim.
Hi, Jim and Larry. It's Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Larry, as long as there are kids in the world, there's always going to be movie theaters because you got to get them out of the house and do something someday.
That's true. Yeah.
So I just tuned in. How much does this box cost?
The box is going to be about $110, or you can lease it. It'd be like $5 a month to lease it.
All right.
We suggest a lot of times you lease it only because technology changes, but our boxes are going to have what's called 4 cores, and what that is like a computer. You would normally pay $295 for this computer. That little box will have it in there.
And where can I get more information? You must have a website.
We have not yet. We're kind of keeping under the radar. We have 8 channels up and running, all of them in high def, all of them streaming around the world. For tests, a lot of times, we will give a box to a guy in Brazil, which we have. We have a box in Brazil, we have a box in Colombia, a box in Venezuela.
Really?
Box in Israel, and people report back, yes, it's working perfect. We're going to add about another 60 or 70 channels to it, hopefully by the September the 15th area. Launched no later than October 1st for the Christmas holiday, so a wife or husband can buy their spouses, the gift and say, here's a box. Our service will be what's called a la carte. And what that means is when you subscribe to us, you will get the off-the-air channels, which could be as many as, let's say, 20, and they will be part in that box, and that will be like $9. And that's your total pay.
Which channels can I choose from?
Okay, well, those channels now are embedded in the box. And then you go online, we give you our website, a special website, and you click the movies you want or click the channels you want. So instead of selling you 100 channels for $80, what we're going to do instead is say we have 100 channels to choose from. Choose the 5 or 7 or 10 that you want. And
do you have History Channel?
We have the History Channel, yes.
You have like
Military Channel, the Food Channel, Recipe Channel, Weather Channel.
So how does it work? So you pay I'm sorry, I think of all your time here today. This sounds very interesting. This is what we've all been wanting for years.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. It is, yeah.
Exactly. It's a la
We're
carte.
sick of paying for 50 channels we don't watch.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, we expect to get sued real soon because the Cox and the Comcast of this world are going to say, wow, you're killing us.
They're gonna.
Can you get local channels on it too?
Yeah, the box will come loaded with local channels. Like right now, if you get CenturyLink, you can
Right.
watch the Orlando channels, but you cannot see the Ocala channels, and you cannot see the Gainesville channels.
I want one of these. Where do I go?
You have to wait. Keep
Oh,
keep
gosh.
tuned, as they say in radio.
It's the big
How will we
tease.
know when they're available?
Well, you have to listen to this radio station.
I do.
I
I do,
know.
but unfortunately they don't have a cloud, so I can't listen to one. You can't go back and say I missed that show.
No, it will be about October before it will be offered to the public.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
You put it during sweeps week. Okay, I understand how this works. All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
That's a
Appreciate
good point. Yeah, I think we have time for another phone call. Good morning. You'll be the last call. You're on
Yeah,
with
good
Jim.
morning. Thank you. This will be real quick. It's going to be kind of foolish maybe in a way, but with all this technology and technical advancements and this and that, is there ever a fear that somewhere in the world somebody's going to figure out how to launch an atomic missile?
Launch an atom. I couldn't answer that. I guess you'd have to have access into the launch area first, and they have firewalls and things like that to protect.
Yeah, but you just would think with all the advancement in technology that somehow somebody's going to figure out how to do that and get into it because they're figuring out everything else.
Yeah, not all those places are connected with the public internet. You have to understand there's internet and then there's internet.
Yeah.
Like the university system is not a public internet. That's a closed internet loop.
Yeah,
The military has their own closed loop. You don't get in. You don't go to Facebook and get into the military base. You
yeah.
know.
Well, the subject anyway is probably make a good movie, I guess.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but, and I'm with Dan when he said we've been waiting for this for a long time. The a la carte idea. That's very, very cool.
Yes.
I think it's cool that we're going to be part of this somehow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You'll be the only radio station on the TV.
Well, for now, as soon as you have a good idea, everybody copies it, right?
Could be.
So, well, then I guess it's better for everybody. Jim, so the big thing everybody wants to know is not only when is it coming out, but October we'll have to wait. But is there a number, a website, anything we can write down and find out more?
Nope, not yet. Not yet. We're trying. Like I say, we're under the radar right now. We have to do all of our own R&D, all of our beta testing, everything first, so we can prove that everything works perfect before we offer it to the public.
Wow.
But we're right there. That's going to be this year, and we're hoping to do it October 1st.
Exciting stuff, that's
Yeah.
for sure. All right, Jim George, thank you for coming in. American Cable Services is the company. We'll let you know when we know. How about
Thank
that?
you.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a break and be right back.
I can smell the chemicals.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. Wear it, Florida.